What's up, guys? What's up, Theory and Theology? It's Friday night, the 9th of August. Actually, the 9th of Av is coming up. Tisha B'Av. I honestly couldn't tell you much about what that is. I might be totally wrong. I think what I saw it's about is, like, don't quote me on this, but like mourning or commemorating, is it the destruction of the Second Temple? Or some kind of historical commemoration of some kind of, like remembrance of something. But I don't want to talk too much about that because I don't know about it, but it's something I'm looking into learning. So I kind of just wanted to talk today about, or tonight, about some of the stuff I want to learn coming up, some of the stuff that I am coming to terms with. It's not like a big thing, kind of like a forgiveness / my own ego. And I was about to start reading Chofetz Chaim, but then I was like, let me just read it over a recording and just read it plain, read it fresh and record, because I haven't recorded in a while. Or even when I have recorded, I haven't come and posted. So I just wanted to do that. And Fridays I kind of, at work, sometimes at the end of work, kind of lately, not all the time. This is maybe, it might have been 2 or 3 times tops that I've done this, from what I remember. And that's like max. I think it's probably a little less. It's probably 2 times. And then today, maybe I thought about it, but didn't do it, and just did it later. There's a central synagogue service that, they do their Friday night Shabbat service online live. And because it's New York time, I'm still working when they're, live streaming that service on YouTube. And they archive all of them. They do like the Saturday daytime ones and like different services, bar mitzvahs, all kinds of stuff. And I'm not Jewish. If there's anybody new here, I'm not Jewish. I'm not, I don't know. I respect and, value a lot of ancient texts. I find rituals to be important in my life. And the thing about Judaism, one thing about Judaism that I like, maybe on like a surfacey level, is because I was raised in Christianity. There's still a lot that I'm kind of figuring out about how I feel about certain adopted types of practices in Christianity, and just my experiences being in that religion, and just some potentially like altered literature, changes of the Bible, maybe some manipulation by the Catholic Church and things. I don't know if it's possible for me to learn enough about that. It's really hard for me to really determine kind of like how to pick apart if something's true or not, because it seems like there are almost equally arguments on both sides. I respect the Quran too, and it kind of has the same, issue. And then even in Judaism, there's still that kind of, issue with like who's Yahweh and where did the God Yahweh come and the history of Yahweh, and are there multiple gods in Judaism? And I don't know. There's all these questions, but I still like the Bible, obviously, or else I wouldn't be like involving myself around it. But sometimes I like things that are kind of like about the Bible, kind of. That's kind of why I like some of the Jewish rituals, because I didn't grow up with them necessarily. Like, I grew up with them from like a little before grad school, and just like, well, probably from like community college when I first went to a synagogue and I got my hands on, um, a, like, the songs that they were doing at that synagogue. They had like this printout, and before that, I had been studying from Beverly Hills Chabad. I think the website was beverlyhillschabad.com. It was around the time when those camp kids made that song about the Rebbe. I think it's called like Rebbe O Rebbe or something like that. And I don't remember if it was like near his passing or it was like they wrote a song about, a remembrance about him or something. I don't know if I don't remember like when he passed or what. Like, I don't really know the history of Chabad very well, but maybe those kids made a song like after the fact. I don't really know, but it was when that song was on the main page of Beverly Hills Chabad, and there used to be this section that said like learn Torah or learn like the cancellation marks and stuff, and like learn to kind of like chant Torah kind of stuff. And there was one that I kind of liked, and there were a couple websites where I printed out stuff and learned like the prayer for before reading Haftarah or something. I don't know. There were like little things that I learned along the way, and I kept, trying to develop my skills and in Hebrew and learning and like kind of following along with the Parsha readings. In Hebrew, kind of, just for like, I don't know, it was just intellectually fulfilling. I don't really know, maybe it was spiritually fulfilling as well. Like, there was something about it that was like so removed from the Christian kind of world. Christianity focuses obviously a lot on Jesus and a lot of interpretations about what parables and gospels and different, stories are about. There's a lot of interpreting and like explaining what things mean in like Protestant Christianity. I kind of like that Judaism, has more of the ritual. It's just like this, these are like really old like songs or prayers in the siddur, and like so that's kind of why I kind of tune in sometimes to the Central Synagogue, because I just like, it's like, okay, we're wrapping up the week. It's kind of like a little like, okay, we're wrapping up the week. I'm not saying I'm going to listen to it every week or that I do or want to. I don't think I listened to it last week. I don't know. But I listened to it today, like tonight actually, after I was like listening to like rock music and all kinds of stuff. And it just kind of, it's just a nice way to wrap up the week. But for me, it's also kind of like trying to learn the history of some of these prayers and kind of connect some of the dots about like how some of these rituals, like I'm starting to like recognize some of the tunes and like learn kind of more what they mean and a couple words here and there, and kind of like, oh, this word means that. Like, there's something about the songs and like the repetition of like a phrase or two it's like it's helping me kind of learn a little bit of vocabulary, probably at a faster rate than what I've been trying to learn because it wasn't working. At one point, I was trying to learn a word a day, that didn't work, and then you know I just get too distracted during the day and don't come back to it. So I can study something, but once I put it down and like start working or something, it kind of changes kind of how I'm able to really remember things. And I'm really noticing that either work or the phone, being on the phone and things, really makes it so I really am not consolidating a lot of things that I'm trying to learn. So whether that's language or just absorbing information in general, or like reading and trying to like retain, and then if I come back like a week later or 3 4 days later and I'm like, what did I read? It's like I can't tell you what I read. I can't tell you what the parsha is. Like the other day I was surprised. I was like, okay, I'm gonna look up the parsha, and I picked up this JPS, just Torah, just all in English, just written out all in English. It's just a little fat book, and it was a nice gift from a friend a long time ago. I picked it up and looked, and I remember Balak, and I remember that, and so I was looking through the book of Numbers, and I was like, okay, and then I forgot all about Pinchas, and I think it was on like Matot Maseh or something. And I was just like, how did I like forget like 2 weeks? How did I forget? Like I wasn't studying it, I wasn't reading it, so obviously, but it just like slipped my mind that like, cause I'm trying at least to know what the parsha is of the week, even if I'm not reading it. I'm like, I need some kind of thing to like anchor me to like time and place, because I lose track of time so easily. I'm like, it's August, I'm like, it's kind of weird. I do like weird little things. So like I try to check like where the moon is at night, like the position of the moon. And now it's like I can't see it at all at night unless it's like after like 1:30 a.m. Probably even later. It's probably going to be closer to 2:30 a.m. where it's like barely peeking over like the neighbor's house. Like if I want to see it at all, I'm going to have to go outside. Because through my window right now, I can't really see it. But there was a time where I could see it, and so those kind of things kind of help me keep track of like the time of year. Like just, I feel like things are just moving so fast, and I'm trying to just, I'm still working on myself with a lot of stuff. Obviously, I'm just not as organized with it. But I am trying to at least use Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday when I'm not at a rave or at a town like partying someplace, and I'm just like home. Like this weekend, I decided I'm just gonna stay home. My plans got canceled. I was gonna catch up with some friends at Venice Beach, and then I was like, well, if I'm just gonna be home, I'm gonna plan out my night, Friday night, and plan out my weekend, so I don't end up just like waking up and taking an edible or something, and then just like not really, doing what I was gonna do for the day. I'll take an edible, but I'm gonna keep the edibles on the weekends to 4:20 and not have them early in the morning this weekend, because I kind of want to have like a more memorable weekend. I mean, I might vape a little or smoke a little, but I think I'll save the edibles. They're kind of, they have too much of a bit of a psychedelic effect. I know people don't say that about cannabis edibles. People don't really call it like a psychedelic effect, but I don't know what else to call it. I mean, things happen, it's not shrooms, it's not acid or DMTU. It's nothing like that, but it's not the same as smoking, and it's not the same as drinking. Um, so I don't really know. Like, I don't really know if there's anything I can really compare it to that I've had, but it does have a little bit of a psychedelic flavor to the effect that it has. Um, I guess it's considered a hallucinogenic, right? But I mean, I don't know. I think it's arguable, maybe, but I do consider cannabis edibles to be psychedelics. I mean, you might not necessarily see colors and stuff, and like you know, but it does alter perception somewhat. And I don't think I want my perception altered. I think I want to just sit with reality, not absorb like news content and like current events and stuff, but I want to just sit with the day, Saturday and Sunday. I'll probably talk to a friend or two on the phone, but other than that, I just want to be completely absorbed in my own either creativity or learning, and I don't really want to do anything else. At most, I'll work out, but I really don't want to do anything else. I think I need to just spend a couple days, 2 days and some, just with my thoughts and reflecting on stuff and reading stuff and learning some new stuff and really sitting and focusing on it. But I have been having a decent experience with some of the nights where I've been staying off my phone more. This week I was off my phone less. Last night I stayed up till like 4 a.m. on purpose. I do not know why I have so much energy. I took melatonin, the max amount that I'm supposed to take, last night, and I could have slept, but I kind of pushed past it, and it wasn't a good idea, but I did it anyways because I just wanted to stay up, and I was like, I know I'm gonna be tired, but I kind of didn't care. I wanted the free time. I valued that more than sleeping, and I just kind of plowed through today. I did have a weird schedule around 11:20 or so. I decided to take a 15-minute break to eat. That 15-minute break went longer, so I decided to make that my lunch break. Then I took a break, I can't remember when, probably let's call it 2 p.m., and I was going to take another break around 4 p.m. Instead of doing break, lunch, break, I did lunch, break, break. But, by the end of the day, I was like, let me just push and finish this last stuff and then take the last 15 minutes. So I kind of jumped in the shower at the last, I think 12, 13 minutes. It was less, maybe, 12, 13 minutes, or maybe 11 minutes is what I remember. And then my supervisor, I guess, messaged me around 9 minutes till ending, but I was in the shower till 5:01, and he was just kind of like, are you still logged on? And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I was taking a break. But I don't feel bad about it. I mean, I wasn't necessarily ditching work early. I didn't log off early. I was still online. I just took a break at the end of work. And I know that's not necessarily what I'm supposed to do, but I didn't want to risk taking a 15-minute break at 4 o'clock and then having 15 minutes worth of stuff to finish that was going to have to be waiting till Monday. I was like, I'd rather take less of a break at the end of the day versus and finish everything, and this isn't really a time where I even want to be thinking about work, but that's kind of I was just a little worried that the supervisor was thinking that I wasn't working, and then because I was, and then I mean, to get a message 9 minutes before closing, it's and I wasn't even offline for more than 15 minutes. It was probably 12 minutes or something. It wasn't even 15 minutes. So, I mean, what am I gonna do with 15 minutes at the end of a Friday? It's like, and I think with Teams you can see how long someone's been offline, and I don't think I was offline. I make sure that like right before I stand up to leave, I, you know, kind of like touch the mouse and make sure it moves, so that the computer starts counting kind of like how long I've been away from the keyboard from that time when I last moved the mouse, because I don't want it to be like, okay, I've been sitting here for like 2 minutes, and then it's like your 2 extra minutes. So I try to just make it, right when I'm standing up, so that, because you can see how long someone's been away from the computer, but I can't see my own time away. But if someone else, once it turns, after 5 minutes, it turns yellow, and then from that point, it kind of starts counting how long you've been away. So you can see when other people have been away on Teams, and I don't think there's a way to really turn that off. From what I've looked into, you have to basically keep something like clicking on the keyboard or something. You can't necessarily just change the setting, because it takes into account if you've been touching the keyboard. If you stop for 5 minutes, then it kind of like turns yellow automatically. So just to say that you've been away, and it starts counting how long you've been away, is really annoying, and I hate it. But I try and make it so that when I'm away, it's actually counting how long I'm away, not how long. Like, say if I was reading something or had a phone call from a patient and was writing in a notebook, and maybe the call is like 25 minutes. It's like, yeah, I haven't touched the keyboard, and then I get up and take a break, and then it looks like I've been away for like 25 minutes plus 15 minutes, but then I really was only away for 15 minutes because it was 25 minutes spent, on the phone, but I didn't touch the keyboard, so things like that. I try to like make it so that nobody really needs to question how long I've been away, because it should say it on there. And the last thing I saved was within like 15 minutes before closing, and so I don't think it's an issue, but I worry because I don't know, some of the people, I don't know, it's not the most organized site, and I'm kind of noticing the supervisor not being too organized is kind of throwing me a little bit. They were kind of late for a meeting that made me late for a meeting. They kind of made some confusing change to a different meeting, and I confirmed that we were canceling that one and we were meeting on a different day. And then they asked me why I wasn't in that meeting that they had canceled, and so stuff like that. And and now they're like 9 minutes before closing on a Friday, kind of asking where I'm at. It's like stuff like that where I'm just like, just leave me alone, like just let me work, leave me alone. I'm not doing anything wrong, and I know I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't really care. I shouldn't care. I mean, if they need to know how long I've been away from my computer, they can just look at Teams. And if they really want something, they don't need to like message me. Where I'm at, like I'm right there. Like if I'm not like in the bathroom or like in the kitchen, I'm at the computer. So I don't know, but that's as much as I really want to be thinking about work. I don't really want to think about it too much. We had a couple deaths this week, and then brought up a couple other past ones with having to like fill out some log, and I'm over this week. I'm like, dude, my energy was decent this week, but I was not. My energy was decent this week, but there were a lot of challenges. So I was, yeah, with all that, I wasn't, I had 2 nights where maybe my sleep could have been better. One night I slept at 1:30 a.m. Last night I slept around 4 a.m. Last night was on purpose. The other night was not on purpose. So I did have kind of one night this week that was kind of off, but otherwise, I think that rave really helped, and maybe just staying offline more. That was kind of staying offline more too, but getting out in the sun and dancing for like hours on end, um, meeting up with a friend and stuff like that probably helped. Um, but now I'm coming into the weekend, like just kind of reflecting on the week and just kind of realizing, like, okay, like my energy was better this week. There were some things that could have changed. But tonight I was kind of, like I said, I was listening to some rock music. After watching some podcasts and stuff after eating dinner after work, and I was listening to some podcasts, and then like I thought I was gonna take a nap, but I didn't, and then kind of just relaxed and stuff, and then started listening to some music. Let me see. I'll look up the name of this song I was listening to. Um, so I think the name of the song is Wood. By Owls and Chains. Mm, I don't really know what this song is about. Um, but there were just some of the lyrics that were kind of hitting me, reminding me of someone. I had a person that I was pretty connected to that I was a jerk. Um, it was just bad timing. In all honesty, I've never really spoken up at someone. Like usually when somebody tells me something, I kind of just don't respond. Like usually when somebody tells me a reason why they're maybe upset with me or complains at me about something, I usually let it go. I'm usually like okay to let it go. But this person specifically, I don't know if I think I can get into it. I think I've talked about it before. They specifically told me that I was being a bad friend. Now, I was, in a way, I can see how they can say that. I was overwhelmed with them. Basically, I was blocking them because they were excessively messaging me a lot of things that I just didn't want to read. So I found, okay, if I just block this person, and then when I feel like I want to interact or go back and read some of the old messages that I let come through, I'll unblock and then go back. But I don't know if they found out that if they type in my number instead of using the saved number, like if they type it in, then they can bypass the block. And I don't know, I just got annoyed because I was like, well, because I noticed their number was coming up but not their name. But I knew who it was because like the conversation was like still continued. And I was like, oh, I blocked them, and like now they keep just like messaging me all the time. And so I was getting annoyed by it. Instead of telling this person that I was annoyed, I kind of started not really responding in a very validating way to what they were saying. Now, in the past, I had definitely responded for years on end in a validating way to the same kind of themes of, things that this person was sending me. It got to a point where I was overwhelmed by it, and I was at a time where I just really did not want to interact. with this person, and they found a way to start messaging me. Instead of me being a little more straightforward and saying, hey, I really want to talk, but not about this, or hey, I really want to talk, but sorry, I'm going to be busy for a while, or I'm kind of stressed, so I'm not really doing too good at keeping up on messages, or there's like a list of things I could have said. I did say, I think I did say, what did I say? I did tell them, lately I'm kind of going offline here and there. And so if you don't hear from me, it's because I'm like blocking out the world, going into hermit mode. And that's what I said when I blocked them specifically. So I wasn't trying to say I'm blocking you now. I don't know, was that honest or not, to say I'm kind of going offline for a while. Because I wasn't fully going offline at that time. I just was going offline regarding messages with them. I don't think I was like ignoring everybody. Like maybe on occasion I was like not responding to anybody for a day or something. But I don't think I did that very regularly. I think it was more like this one person wasn't responding to. So I could have addressed it better. Better than just saying, hey, I'm going offline for a while. I did say that, but I guess I can't say they didn't get the hint, because it's like it's a hint. It was a hint. I didn't tell them your messages are overwhelming me. I'm pretty overwhelmed with my phone right now. Like whenever I would see messages from them, I would get like tense, and I'd get like not mad, but just kind of like irritated. And blocking helped, because then I was like, okay, I wonder how they're doing. I want to check in. I want to say hey. And then every once in a while, I get to that point where I hadn't like been kind of overwhelmed by them, and I did want to kind of like reconnect and like talk. And it wasn't like months apart. It was like at most maybe like a week or two, but not like every single day, like all these messages. And so I just wasn't communicating it well, and they weren't picking up on the hint. And I can't blame someone for not picking up on me not being direct. I thought I was kind of like soft delivery, kind of like, let me be nice about this, because I can be that way too, and I can be texting people and like overdoing it, and people have had patience with me, and some people have not, and I understand where it's coming from. But I've had people kind of like tell me, hey, like I'm not in the mood to like read this, or like my mood isn't in a place where I really feel like I want to read a bunch of text and stuff, or like I'm too overwhelmed, or I'm too tired, I just don't have the energy. And I'm like, okay, I get it, I hear you loud and clear. But at a certain point I was mad at this person because of what they said to me, and also because of how they weren't understanding, and I did tell them eventually, I'm like, I'm going through a lot, no, but this is after they had said you're a bad friend kind of thing, because I was being invalidating. Like they were sending me messages kind of like about, some stuff that was stressing them out, or some ideas that were stressing them out. But for years they've been sending me these themes about the same messages. And so there were years where I was like, yeah, like, and like engaging in that conversation. And I got to a point where I was like, this conversation again, like still like with the same thing. Like I don't want to talk about it anymore. But that's all they seem to really want to keep kind of coming back to. And that's when I started kind of like blocking them, because I was like, here comes like 18 lengthy messages, about the same themes that they've been complaining about for years. And when I wasn't able to block them anymore, instead of being more direct and like kind of how I'm explaining it now. I didn't say any of this. I basically was, when they were complaining about their concerns that they were texting me and like somehow the messages were getting through when it was blocked. I don't know if they intentionally did what I said, did what I was explaining about how people can put in a number and then it bypasses the 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 blocked saved number. Like usually you save someone's number with their name, right? But if you block the name, they can still message you if they just type in your number without basically clicking your name. They can message you, and the message goes through. That's what I thought I read about, but I don't know because I've never done that, and I don't know if this person did that. And so I thought that that's what they were doing, and I got really irritated with that. And because I was like, okay, like I'm blocking you because I don't really want, that's my way of just like shutting it out, and it was working. But then I kept getting the messages, and instead of just saying like, hey, stop messaging me, or just ignoring them or whatever, I was getting so irritated that I kind of just, I guess I became like passive aggressive and like invalidating instead of either ignoring the messages or telling the person, what I'd been saying for years, just kind of like agreeing, because I do agree with what they've said, and I've always explained why I agree, but it takes like a lengthy conversation because it was like a really deep conversation, and I said, I would just say invalidating things, like not mean things, but I'd be like, oh, like, imagine someone's telling you about I'm just making this up, like some boss that was like mean to them, and like all these types of people that like they're kind of categorizing these types of bosses that are kind of acting in a certain way that they've noticed in society, and kind of like their frustration with those types of people that they have to run into, and how it interferes with their peace of mind and everything. And then I basically said, like, oh, it's a sunny, nice day today, and like I'm just glad, that I have a job, and like just talking kind of about this gratitude of what I'm feeling positive about, because it was just so much negativity. Like they would just message me lengthy negative messages about their frustrations, and I kind of just couldn't take it, and I was just like, they got mad at me for not really responding kind of in a more validating way like I had been for like years. And I kind of thought that, okay, they know that we're kind of on the same page about this, but because I stopped like feeding into it and just was talking about, positive things that I was feeling, and not even like responding directly to what I wasn't even responding to what they were saying. I would just like talk about whatever the heck it was I was saying. I wasn't even like responding to them. I would read a little bit, and I'd just be like, let me think of something positive that I want to talk about, and I just like start talking about that. I wasn't even like, because I don't know, I wasn't trying to do it to be irritating, but I was like, I want to respond, but I don't want to read this, and I don't want to respond to this. But how do you say that to somebody without being a jerk? And so instead I was a jerk when they kind of called me out on, basically, I think they were kind of harsh for saying like you're not being a good friend. I'm kind of like, that did hurt, because I'm like, okay, like how am I not being a good friend? Because I'm overwhelmed with this, And so I kind of just told them, I got a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I kind of don't have energy to give you or anybody else, like, because I didn't at that time. And so I ended up just kind of blocking them, I think I did screenshot their number in the last message they sent. I don't know if I deleted it or not, because that would have been the only, access I had to their old number. And, they're not on Facebook, or I don't have them on Facebook anymore. I don't, if I don't have that message, I don't know how to get back in touch with them anymore. But I was listening to this song, and there were just some lyrics that kind of just caught my attention. Like I don't really know what it was about, but it was kind of like the lyrics that are like, "So I made a big mistake," and these other lyrics where it's like, "Am I wrong? Um, have I run too far to get home? Have I gone and left you here alone?" kind of thing. And it's Allison James, and whenever I listen to like metal, new metal, like that kind of like harder rock music, me and this person really connected deeply on like that level about different music and stuff and all kinds of things. But we actually did have a connection on a deeper level, but I don't think we'd ever really had a disagreement. Because mostly we kind of saw things the same way. Not really. I mean, they did see things like about trans people in a way that I don't think they understood minorities very well. They were kind of talking about like slavery and like how slaves they were kind of trying to say like basically if they were a slave they wouldn't have been enslaved, and that people have this like victim mindset and all this kind of stuff. But in a mean way, I was kind of thinking, well, this person has a victim mindset too. It's kind of like, so how are you going to say that you would have been any better? But I don't know. It was like there were certain topics like that where I was like, it's a little something that I think we shouldn't really, discuss too often. Like I don't think, and also a lot of this was over text. We barely saw each other, and I wanted to hang out with them, but I just never made plans too much. And I liked hanging out with them, but I don't know. I kind of didn't really feel good around them. Like they were never they weren't in a bad mood like towards me, but just it was just heavy, just always heavy. Like no joking, it was just heavy, and I'm just like, but I also don't want to be like running around hurting people, and I do think I was in the wrong. I think they were in the wrong too, and I do think I was in the wrong. I think they went a little too hard on their criticism, and they did catch on that I was responding in a way. I wasn't trying to respond in a way to hurt them. I was trying to respond in a way to protect me. I was like, well, I want to talk to you, I just don't want to talk about that, because I could feel like getting tense and irritable and like just not wanting to have those like you can tell when you've like reached your limit with stuff. For me, it's like a very physical experience, and I'm like, dude, this is making me stressed out. Like, but I did like to talk about other stuff, but we just, there was no way that I could really explain that to them. So I could have done a better job at using better communication skills and not just in the moment being like, unloading on them about, not necessarily their comment about me being a bad friend, but basically that was kind of like, that was kind of the last straw. Now, do I want to interact with this person? I don't think, I don't really know if I want to meet with them in person again, or if I want to start getting messages from them or anything, but I really don't know how I feel about that. I would like to, so long as it wasn't those other kind of messages I don't really want to talk about, or respond to, and like have to read them all and like try to like. It just sucked out a lot of my energy that I didn't have at that time, and but I do want to apologize to this person. I started thinking about that today. I was like, I do want to apologize, and I know exactly what I would say. I looked briefly on Facebook, couldn't really find them, and then I don't really think I have their number. I didn't really look that deeply, but if I don't have a screenshot of that phone number, I don't have their number anymore. So I might not be able to apologize or ever get back in touch with this person, but I didn't think I'd get to a place where I wanted to apologize because I was for a long time now. It wasn't a year ago. It was like months. It's been within a year. But I think we were both in the wrong. We just didn't communicate about it very well. Because I can see now, like, this could have been resolved. It didn't have to go the way that it did. And, you know, but I don't think at the time, I think at the time when we were both addressing it was like the worst possible time. We could have kept talking. Like, we should have just dropped it for like a week. Like, I was getting on his nerves, he was getting on my nerves. We should have just not responded to each other for a few days and cooled off, and then maybe come into a conversation about him explaining kind of how he feels about when I don't respond to his messages the way he wants, or me, myself communicating more about how the messages are overwhelming, which is why I was responding in a way that for me was like, okay, this feels better, I don't feel stressed and I can still respond. I really wasn't intentionally trying to be a bad friend. I just was not into talking to him about that. I mean, it was a simple thing, I didn't want to not be friends with him or not talk to him. Now, is I don't know, because like I said, when I was around him, I don't really feel that good. He doesn't make me feel bad, but certain people's energies, I was just they're just so down, and everything you want to talk about, it's you can't really talk about anything fun or share that you did anything fun because you feel like they're just gonna have some weird comment about it, or so it's just stuff like that where I was like, yeah, I do want to apologize, but I don't really know how good of a fit we are to be talking all the time. But I did like to pick his brain. I like the intellectual conversations. I did like some of the depth of conversations, like how we could kind of talk about stuff that, I don't really talk about with a whole lot of people. I did find some value to the conversations, but having it all being on text and not seeing each other in person, and I don't know, I don't know. And they were kind of connected to a situation I kind of just want to leave behind me. That's kind of another thing too. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this. I don't know if there's anything I can even do at this point, but yeah, I do wish it didn't go down like that. I don't think we went too far. I think he said what he said. I didn't even finish reading his message before I responded, basically saying how I don't really want to give any more of my energy to anybody else. And he sent a final message, which I think I screenshotted with his number to make sure I had it, and I think I decided I'm going to delete that too. I think I deleted that message. I'm not 100% sure if I deleted that screenshot, because I was thinking, I'm going to regret deleting him and not, and blocking him and not having, what if I change my mind? Because usually I change my mind. But with him, I can see why he said what he said, though. I think it was a low blow, but I can see why he said that. But I was just kind of not trying to hear that. But I don't know. I'm not used to getting in arguments and things with people, and especially doing it over text. That's kind of stupid. I don't like arguing with people in general. I don't like doing it in person either, but I would have I think it would have been more ideal to talk about this in person or at least over the phone, talking on the phone, not texting. And I think it would have been better to not have the conversation in that moment because he was already upset about something and I wasn't responding the way that he wanted. And he was talking to me when I didn't want to talk to him. And it was just like, you know, it was just bad timing. And, I just was not in the headspace to really deal with things that day or during that time frame. I just was not dealing with things well in general. And it just kind of came out. And I don't know. I was like, I didn't think I'd ever apologize or want to apologize. But today, some reason, I was just like, I'm kind of past, thinking about this. Like, how dare he said that, and I can't believe how entitled he felt for me to like need to send something. He needs my attention with all this stuff, and like, no, that wasn't fully what was going on. And we were friends and we did have a lot of good times. And I think that other than that, I think he tried. Like, I don't, I don't know. We kind of developed this level of, it's kind of like this level of intimacy about like deep intellectual topics and music, certain types of music that has like a lot of meaning, and certain artists that have like a lot of depth to what they say, and like we kind of value their backgrounds and kind of their perspective on things, and we really connected about that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't say that we didn't have any kind of relationship. It just didn't really. It actually, and we kind of broke up with each other almost. But it just, I don't know. I think it was stupid. It was stupid for both of us to continue having that conversation, and it didn't go that long. I don't really know how long it went because I blocked him, and I don't know if he kept messaging me after the fact, and I don't know if he tried to reach back out, and I just won't know because I was like, I don't want to know. But now I really don't know if I want to reconnect with him. But if it's possible to apologize to him, I would like to do that because I would at least like to apologize for what I was wrong about. And if I don't need to explain the whole thing, but I don't think I've ever had a situation like that with someone where it's been like kind of like, okay, I'm pissed at this person, I'm gonna block him and never talk to him again. I don't think I've really done that in a way where it was someone that I wasn't like pretty sure that I was like, I don't want to talk to these people. So I don't know. I'm not really questioning trying to like, rekindle anything. That it's too early for even thinking about that. But I'm gonna see if I can find a way to apologize. I just don't know if I have any way to contact him, and if I don't, that's on me because I deleted everything. So, and there's probably a way to access it because it is digital. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. But this is something I'm going to be working on, is trying to at least apologize. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even know if he'll read it or get it if I even do find the number. I don't know if I even hope I find the number. I don't know if it's even a good idea. But I think I was in the wrong. I think I owe him an apology. I do. I would like to be able to apologize. Even if I don't know anything else after that point. I would like to say that I'm sorry for what I said because it wasn't nice. Or the way I was not being sensitive wasn't nice. I don't think I would have been like that with anybody else, with any other friends. But it is, I've got this thing where I like neediness. It kind of like repels me. Like it's like a repellent. Like I can't really. It's been a while, but I can't really, you know, I don't really have a lot of energy for people who need a lot from me. Like I really need to keep a lot of my energy to myself. And it's been like that for a while now. So anyone who takes like more energy from me than what I was already wanting to give, it's kind of a lot. I can feel it. Like I get really tense when I'm around people that do that. I have family members that are like that. I have, certain people around me that are like that on occasion. And I just can tell, like, I'm just tense when I'm around them because I'm like, oh, like, they just need so much of my attention and I just don't have the energy to, like, give proper sensitivity and attention to them. I don't, I don't have the energy and I don't want to give the energy that I do have to that. I want them to go find that elsewhere, and then I just want to have, I want to interact with people and be able to like share deep stuff, but I don't want a lot of that. I don't want like a whole lot of depth all the time right now, unless it's something that I want to go deep into. But I don't know. I'm kind of just being selfish with my energy lately. Like, I kind of have to be. Like I said, like there's a lot of dying at this job. There's a lot of just stuff that's going on just worldwide. That's just like it's a lot, And I'm trying to tune a lot of stuff out and reserve, as much energy as I can so I can work on my own stuff. Work on some music, learn things, sleep right, lift weights, get some exercise so I'm not like so drained by like all this other stuff going on around me. I have to reserve some energy so I can do the things I need to do, at least more often, and try to improve on doing them more often. But it's hard. It's getting harder to, it's getting harder to have friends or people around me that need too much from me, or almost anything from me for that matter. Like if it's not just hanging out and just having fun, maybe the occasional kind of like, oh, like I had a bad day kind of thing. But it can't be like every time we talk, it's been a bad day. Like I just can't do that, Like I mean, I know people have bad days. I've been there too, where it's been like every day is a bad day. It's been like that for a while. But lately for me, it's not that way. And I don't really want to be around that, I'm around it all day, At work, I'm just talking to people who are sick or family members of people who are sick, and people are worried and they need all this stuff, and some of them don't make it, and it's like, I'm dealing with that for 8.5 hours every day. Like, I don't want to do with more, on my free time. More other stuff, It's like I need to just be handling my own basics. Because I was giving away too much of my energy for too long. But I do feel bad about that though. I do feel bad that I can't give people more of my energy. I do feel bad about that. Like I do feel guilty. And I did want to make sure that with this specific person, I wasn't like gonna be trying to reach out of feeling guilty for that reason. I don't feel guilty for that reason. I feel like guilty for what I did say that was not. I just didn't handle it well. And I don't think I went overboard on the things I said. I just think I didn't really give it time to like hear him out or like resolve the issue. I just said what I said out of being pretty mad, and then blocked him and left it at that. Blocked, deleted, left it at that. And that was pretty immature. But I also don't know if this person is a very healthy person to keep in my life. But I do think I need to apologize. But I don't know. I'm still kind of debating on that part because I do know how I feel around this person. There are times I really like to talk to them and everything, but when we meet up, I'm like, dude, like I do not feel good around this person. Like, you know, and it's not that I don't want to be around them, but I don't feel good around them, and I don't know if I have that kind of energy for that, for engaging in a lot of conversations or catching up or anything. Like, and that was another thing. They never really liked to catch up. Like, it wasn't like, oh, how's your day? Like, what are you dealing with? Like, this is what happened in my day today or that kind of thing. It was more like these kind of esoteric like concepts and stuff. And so it was just like I just didn't want to talk about it. And I don't know. I think I know how I want to handle it. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but I'm going to try quite a few times and not just give up if I can't find this number right away. I'm going to try pretty hard to find the number. Even if it's buried in some trash bin in my phone somewhere or something, or in the cloud. But I'm really trying not to talk crap about people either. But I don't know how I could have explained that whole thing without saying all that. And I don't think there's any identifying information unless the specific person listens to this, which I don't think they do, but unless they do, they're probably the only person who would know. And I think I talked to one friend about this ever, and I didn't explain the whole thing, but I'm trying to do something about like resolving things that are kind of like on my mind. Like if I find myself keeping on like thinking about something, I'm like, it's there for a reason. But I don't know, man. I don't know. So that's my lengthy explanation of kind of what I've been up to. I did want to read this Chofetz Chaim. They have daily, so they have the 5th of Av and Chofetz Chaim daily, the 6th of Av. So they're giving us a lot of options. And actually, why is it at 8? It should be at, because it's not, well, it's now officially the 10th of August. But this is the 8th, meaning it was yesterday. Yesterday when I started looking at it. So maybe I don't know if they released them on the Sabbath. But basically, let me read this. 8.3 or 8.3 says, Aser, to say Lashon Hara about a child if it will put him in a bad light or cause him damage. Now, I have to look up different terms because I can't remember what anything means. The meaning of Aser in Judaism. That's interesting. I didn't know that. The supreme national god of the ancient Assyrians, chiefly a war god whose symbol was an archer within a winged disc. I don't think that's okay. Okay, so it's talking about terminology. So For terminology, it says for a forbidden act, the term aser is used. So aser means a forbidden act. And where it says LH, it means lashon hara, which means like some form of gossip, or like, I think it means, does it mean the tongue or like the words or something? Something about the tongue or the words. I don't know if it's protecting the tongue or protecting the words or something along those lines. But, yeah, so that's generally what aser means. There's probably a lot more depth to it than what I just said, but that's what aser means. Oh man, I'm yawning. It's late for me. It's a little after midnight. 8-4. It says aser to say lashon hara about an haaretz. Saying lashon hara on a scholar can often be in the category of mevaze Talmud Chacham, which is a terrible sin. Someone who's a Rav and toils in Torah is considered a Talmud Chacham. So there's a lot of definitions of things there that I don't even understand what that means. I know haaretz is land, but I don't know what haaretz. I'm wondering if that means if that's related to Israel. Let me look that up. Haaretz. Oh, people. I forgot the word people. So people is people of the earth. Haaretz. And then what was the other word? I don't know. Mivaze. Never heard that word before in my life. Mivaze. And the thing is, when I'm spelling this in English letters, I'm kind of spelling it the way they wrote it, so I don't really know. Mivaze. I keep saying mitzvah, but I don't know if that's what it's trying to say. I don't know. Mivaze Talmud Chacham. Talmud Chacham. Talmud is a student. Chacham, I can't remember. Sorry, I have to look all this stuff up because it's like I'm reading it and it's like all the important words aren't in English. Talmud Chacham is an honorific title given to a man who is well versed in Jewish law, or a Torah scholar. The term is derived from the Hebrew words Talmud, which means student, and Chachamim, which means sages. In modern Hebrew, the term is shortened to Talmud Chacham, which translates to sage student. Sage student. The female equivalent of the term is Talmidat Chachamim, which also translates to student of sages. Okay, so how far did that get us? I still don't know what mivaze means. Well, it's considered a category. So let me read that again. So 8-4, aser to say lashon hara about an haaretz. Saying lashon hara on a scholar can often be in the category of mivaze Talmud Chacham, which is a terrible sin. Someone who's a Rav and toils in Torah is considered a Talmud Chacham. Okay. Okay, so it's basically forbidden to say gossip about a person of the earth or people of the earth. It says like anybody. Saying lashon hara on a scholar, so like gossiping about a scholar, can often be in the category of whatever this mivazeh talmid chacham, whatever that category is. Saying lashon hara about a scholar is a sin, according to this passage here. And it says someone who's a rav. I think rav is like teacher or something like that. Kind of like rav or rabbi or something like that. I don't know. I'm not going to go look that one up. But someone who's a rav and toils in Torah is considered a talmid chacham. So basically it's saying you can't say gossip about someone who is kind of like a sage, like a person who studies Torah, like a student, like who gets that that as a definition of like a title, I guess, a type of a title. I don't think just anyone who studies Torah is considered a talmid chacham. I think you have to be kind of more, you have to be considered a Torah scholar. It's an honorific title. So somebody or a lot of people are recognizing a person to be a scholar of the Torah. Now, I don't know why the beginning part says that it's forbidden to say lashon hara about a person of the earth. I mean, that's like everybody. People of the earth is like everybody. So I don't know. But let's move on. Oh man, this has so many words. Let me read these other ones that seem a little easier. No, I think I'm gonna have to read 8.5 before 8.6. I don't think I can read just 8.6 because I think they're connected. But there's a lot of words in here that I don't understand. So Chofetz Chaim daily 6 of Av for 8.5 it says mitzvah to say lashon hara about a known apikoros, one who denies one who denies anything of written or oral law. The poskim say that a tinok, shenishba, has a halacha of a regular Jew, and no lashon hara should be said about him, unless it is letolis with all the conditions. I don't understand that. I'm gonna have to come back to that maybe. 8.6. If it's a rumor, you can suspect and stay away, but do not believe it until you see it yourself or otherwise verify it. So basically, stay away from rumors. If there's a rumor, you can suspect, but stay away. But do not believe it. So you can say, maybe it's possible, but you can say like maybe, but don't believe it. Don't believe a rumor unless you see it yourself, or if you're able to verify it somehow. So not believing in rumors. Now, I don't really know. I don't really know. Okay. That's interesting, and I don't know if it's connected to the above. So 8.6, I don't know if 8.6 is connected to 8.5 because I don't understand what 8.5 means. But if I'm assuming that it's an isolated segment of a passage, I think this is interesting because I read something in here the other day or on here. It's online. I'm reading it online, not in a book, not in a physical book. But I think it's interesting because the other day I saw some stuff about um, you know, rumors and like don't believe it if there's this many people saying this, or like I don't know, I don't remember. And I might have talked about it, I might have not, I don't remember. But it's kind of interesting. I find this topic to be interesting because if I think about rumors, I'm trying to think of the last rumor I heard. The last rumor I heard. I'm probably not gonna say it, but I'm trying to think of the last rumor I heard. I don't know if I've heard anybody revealing rumors about themselves or about something they're experiencing. I don't know. I just really don't know if I. The last rumor I heard. I don't know if I've heard a rumor anytime recently. Like I'm not even talking politics, but there's plenty of rumors up in there. But a rumor from somebody I know. I don't remember any rumors from any people I know anytime recently. I do know someone. Okay, maybe two people expressed to me some frustrations about someone they know. One person went into detail. Another person just expressed, I'm frustrated with this person. It's not a person that I know or will ever meet, but they expressed that they're upset with this person and told me that. And they didn't go past that. Another person told me a lot of things they're frustrated about another person that I've met before, but I don't know this person, but I could potentially meet them again. And they told me a lot of details. So I'm just trying to put myself in a scenario. So I would consider it a rumor in a way. Somebody expressing their frustration about the situation, kind of going into explaining kind of like what the scenario is that they're frustrated about. Is that even a rumor? Let's say it is a rumor. Then that means I can suspect, but stay away. But I also can't believe it until I see it myself or until I verify it, maybe in some other way. But how do I not believe it? That's the part that gets me. Where I'm like, how do you not believe? Like, if my friends are telling me something, I'm usually going to believe it. I'm not going to think, oh, they're lying. That's not true. I'm not going to think that. But if they're frustrated, I'd say most of my friends, if they're frustrated with someone, they probably have a good reason to be, because most of the people I know, at least to me, don't seem very easily angered, and most of the people I know who are my friends aren't. I don't feel like they're overly hard on people. Like they get frustrated for no reason. Like, I think someone has to do something to them, and then they're like, oh, like, this is a frustrating thing that I have to deal with. And so if one of my friends is telling me their side of a situation, involving some other person, whether I know that other person or not, is it possible for me to not believe what they said? I mean, I could suspect, okay, maybe that's possible, or maybe a portion of it, or maybe a certain amount of it is possible that it's that way. But can I get to a place where I don't believe what they said, unless I'm able to verify it myself? Because it is one-sided. It is a one-sided, you know, explanation of one's own frustration. I'm not hearing the other person's side. So it is possible that it's one-sided. It is possible that I think with most things there is truth and maybe like a lie. Not a lie. I don't want to say lie. That's a little extreme. But truth and some maybe making oneself look better. Now, when I was trying to explain this situation earlier where I'm wanting to apologize to someone, I don't know if that's something that's considered gossip or a rumor. I don't really know. Maybe it is. I'm not giving any identifying information about where I know this person from or whatever. But I probably have. Maybe I have in the past, because I think when the situation first came up, I may have kind of talked about how I know this person. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. If I did, then I might need to edit or delete that, but I'm not 100% sure. Because I just ramble on here, and so I don't really fully remember. But I do think when it was still kind of fresh, I think I did record about it. And if I did, that probably wasn't a good choice. So if I did record about it, I should delete it, I would say, because that's not something I should have posted. But I really don't know if I did or not. But I don't know. I wouldn't say that I don't fully believe what people say to me about people they're frustrated with. I don't think like if it's a rumor, I don't really know, like with these specific scenarios I'm talking about, I don't really know if I would say that I don't believe it, but I would say that it is one-sided and I'm only getting one perspective, and we'll probably never get the other perspective. Because like when I was talking about this situation with this person, with the texting and stuff between the two of us, when I was explaining it just now, I was trying to be like, not just saying, oh, I'm in the right, this is how they were wrong. I do think I was wrong. I do think they were wrong. I may be more in the wrong than they are, because I wasn't directly communicating that I was kind of frustrated with them. So I may be more in the wrong, because I kind of let it go to a point where I kind of just got mad eventually about it. And I don't know if I was being passive aggressive. Maybe I was. That is pretty passive aggressive, I think, in like a weird way. If somebody's saying how they're, frustrated about something or stressed about something, and keep on like messaging me about stuff, and I don't really want to hear it, and then just kind of being invalidating, like not really showing compassion for their situation at all. But I wasn't I don't think I was trying to hurt this person. I don't think I was trying to get in some kind of argument or upset them. I don't think I was trying to force them to think about nicer things. But I think I just didn't want to hear what they had to say. I didn't have energy for it. And I probably shouldn't have been responding. But I don't think that fully relates here with what I was just reading. But just my explanation of it, I hope that I'm giving an accurate perspective, and not trying to paint myself in like a better light. And make me seem more, more right and them more wrong. I don't dislike this person. I think at a point I was upset with them, but I don't think I dislike this person. I actually do wish them well and care about them. I just don't know if I want to be involved with them. And if I am, I don't want to be involved like we were. There were parts of it that I liked, but the parts that weren't healthy for me, I don't want to, like, when I look at my phone, I shouldn't, like, get frustrated or, like, stressed out just because I'm seeing certain messages coming in from like, if I see a certain person's name and I'm kind of like, it kind of makes me mad or something, that isn't good. But that's also on me. I mean, I could be more patient. But like I said, I don't really have energy for that. Not just for this person, for anybody. But I don't really know a lot of people who are that way. I do know people who kind of need my energy, but I am pretty good at avoiding giving that out lately if I don't feel like I can. 8-7, I don't understand what that means. Let's see. Yeah, 8 is the last one posted. August 8th is the last one posted. Let's see. I want to read a little bit more of this, but I don't want to go like crazy reading and stuff. I don't want to be reading it like forever. So I'll read one more. Chofetz Chaim, Daily 4, 4th of Av. This is for August 7th. So it's short, and it's 8-1. So it's when 8 starts, and it's short. So it says, the Isser of saying Lashon Hara applies to men and women, strangers and relatives. And then 8-2 says, Asr to say Lashon Hara about men or women, including your spouse and in-laws. Wow, that's pretty deep. So the Isser, I-S-S-U-R, that's a different word than Asr, A-S-U-R. Asr means forbidden. Isser, I think, means like rule or something. I don't know. Looking at these words after midnight is probably not the best timing. Sorry, I'm sneezing. Oh my goodness. No. Man. I lost it. Oh, there it is. This can't be right. Oh, maybe it is. It says in Judaism, Isser is a word that means prohibition. It can also mean tying a person's hands or banning them from taking certain actions. So it means prohibition. So there's a lot of things being forbidden and prohibited. So the prohibition of saying Lashon Hara applies to men and women, strangers and relatives. It is forbidden to say Lashon Hara about men or women, including your spouse and in-laws. So prohibition. There's a prohibition against gossiping. Let me see what that word Lashon Hara means again. Okay. Let me see the exact. Lashon Hara is a Hebrew term that literally translates to evil tongue or evil speech. Okay, Lashon Hara. Evil tongue or evil speech. So, the prohibition of saying evil speech applies to men and women and strangers and relatives. It is forbidden to say evil speech about men or women, including your spouse and in-laws. Okay. So, basically applies to everybody, and you can't really say things about your spouse or your in-laws. So I think that means, like, what do married couples do in this religion if they're following these rules, and if they're married and they're having some kind of conflict? I'm not saying that I think married couples need to share their frustrations with their friends. Like, if they're in a frustration about their relationship, like if they're not getting along, they don't need to share it with their friends. I don't think they need to. I don't think they should. I don't know, but how do people? I don't know. Venting is a very important thing, though. Like, people do get benefit from getting things off their chest. So I think that's where things like prayer come in, therapy. Like, I guess those would be maybe appropriate. And I wonder how therapy applies to this. If it's considered a form of gossiping or something. Like, is therapy within an appropriate method to use to vent about things without actually practicing gossip? Because, I mean, like, what are you talking about in therapy if you can't be, like, open about it? Or, like, some people go to confession, some people go to, they, like I mentioned, like, praying and stuff like that. I mean, if you're praying and you're by yourself, I don't really see how that would be gossip. But I have been around prayers where I learned a lot of revealed information about some person's problems because of the person praying, how they were just too involved with some other person. The person praying was kind of revealing all kinds of secrets in the spirit of prayer, trying to seem like they were praying. They were kind of gossiping too. Like, this isn't really what happened, but say, for example, they're like, help this family as they, have a pregnant 18-year-old in their house, and help this family as, this other family as, they're getting evicted, like things like that, where it's like, whoa, like that, like you don't need to like be telling everybody all their business if they didn't already know that. Like, I think it's different if a specific person says, pray for me about this, and they know it's going to be like blasted all over a group or something, but I think somebody maybe shouldn't pray in a group, just like revealing people's secrets like that. I don't think that would be okay. But I don't know. I really like the Chofetz Chaim stuff, because I like the topic of gossip, and I like the topic of improvement in relationships, relationship stressors, relationship improvements. I like those kind of topics. So I think that's all I wanted to do was talk about that, the experience I'm having with that situation of forgiveness. Yeah, I don't really know. But I guess that's it for now. Thanks for listening.